What's up, everyone? I'm Anthony with Trigger Warning Conjugate. I want to start this video by saying I am by no means at the very tippity top of the iceberg when it comes to equipped powerlifting. I am by no means an expert. I have been fortunate enough to be around a bunch of people who I would consider experts and have been in this sport for a very long time, years and years and years and decades. And so I've been able to pick up a lot of things from them. As it stands right now, there's no comprehensive video showing you the difference between this squat suit and this squat suit and this bench shirt and this bench shirt and so on. So when people start getting into equipment, they kind of are lost. And unless they have somebody guiding them, they'll have to, really kind of figure it out on their own and do a bunch of trial and error. So what I want us to do is make a video, show the different styles and equipment, say why they're different, what they're good for, what they're bad for, what type of person might like this versus that, and kind of show the ropes to alleviate that initial, what the hell am I doing? What do I wear? This person wears this person wears this. So hopefully this is helpful for people. I know when I first started getting into equipment, I was kind of at a loss, and it took almost a full year to kind of figure out what I was even going to wear, or what went where, and when to put it on and whatnot. So I hope this video is helpful. And if you guys have any questions about anything like this, feel free to drop a comment or shoot me a message and we can figure it out from there. Okay, first things first, briefs. Now, these are a pair of Inzer Predators. They are grid stitched, which basically means on the back side, there are horizontal and vertical lines. What that's going to do is it's going to stop the stretchiness of the material. It's going to make them a little more stiff. It'll help them keep their shape basically over time. If you don't get them grid stitched, they end up getting significantly bigger. As you grow or get bigger, they kind of stretch with you to a point. These are a size 40. I wear them at 242. The sizing charts are on the website. They're all pretty accurate. And these are 2 plies in the front and the back. You can get single ply. You can get as many plies as you want. I know a couple guys that do 3 plies in the back. And what a ply basically means is a layer of material. So these are 2 ply. But like I said, I know guys who've got 3 ply in the back, 2 ply in the front. Single ply briefs are usually used for deadlift, or for training lifts where they just want a little bit of support. You can get them altered to shorten the legs. Usually they come a little long. But yeah, these are basically them, and you wear these under a squat suit or to deadlift in, but definitely under your squat suit. I know that's one of the things that I didn't know when I first got a pair. They should be pretty snug when you put them on, which I'll go over in a different video at some point. But yeah, these are them. They're very straightforward, like a big pair of shorts. They come up pretty high to give you a little support in the center section. But that's that. Those are briefs. There's really not much to them. Just like a rugged pair of almost jean shorts. But that's basically them. Okay, next, squat suits. So there are other types of squat suits than what I'm going to talk about now. I just happen to only wear Inzer equipment. I know there are other companies that make like poly suits, but Inzer makes canvas squat suits. This right here is basically the original tried and true white canvas Leviathan. It's pretty heavy. The straps are pretty heavy duty. This probably weighs 8 or 10 pounds. On the side, there's some poly material that'll give, it's got a little bit of give. But these suits are very rugged. Like these are tough and reliable, and they'll last forever. The thing with these suits is they have to fit you perfectly. But they're not going to you're not going to get as much out of them. You can get them altered. It is kind of a task to do that. But yeah, this is like, an OG Leviathan. This is the one that I wear now. A lot of stopping power, very unforgiving. Once they lock up, they lock up. If you're not getting to depth with it, this will just stop you and sit you down. It's basically very similar to a box squat when you wear this. Like I said, there's not much give to them. They are very heavy and very hot, so that's kind of a drawback to these, but they give a lot of support. So they're kind of tried and true. The biggest squats in the world have been done in these. It's very straightforward. It's just a canvas. Looks like a pair of overalls almost. So that's the white canvas, and then Inter put out the Ultra Pro, which I've worn. I'm taking some pretty big weights in. The Ultra Pro is basically a thinner canvas. It's significantly lighter, so it's not as hot. And on the sides, instead of having that poly material, there's shoestrings. It's almost like a corset. So you can adjust, your upper section, your hips, and your legs. Now the good thing about this is if you cut weight or your body weight fluctuates, you can adjust the suit to fit you just perfect. The drawback would be it's hard to get it exactly the same every time. They're a little unpredictable, and I know they have a tendency to throw me a little bit forward. But there's been some big squats done in these suits. They're pretty reliable. I like that the straps are thin. You can feel exactly where the bar is. The straps are very thin. You can feel exactly where it is. So if you're very particular about bar placement, that's good. And like I said, if you cut weight and you recomp and you put your blow back on in a different place, you'll be able to adjust the suit. Or for different attempts, if you want it really tight for your third attempt, you can snug up the hips or what have you. Like I said, these are relatively new. I think they've been out for maybe 2 years, maybe 3. There have been some big weights put up in them. I'm just switching back to the other one personally now to try something different, but good suit, very quality. I've had this one for 2 years now, a little bit longer than that, and they hold up good, and it's gone through 3 different weight classes with me, so they're very adjustable. They sell these in sizes, they're small, medium, large, extra large, whatever. The other ones you have to do, the white canvas, you have to send in measurements for your legs and whatnot. So these are a little easier to order, and you can usually get them a little quicker. So that's the difference between these two. Hold them up next to each other. Pretty drastic difference in weight, and they perform a little differently, but I wouldn't say that one performs better than the other, because an ill-fitting white canvas is not going to work for you. And if you don't know how to set the strings on an Ultra Pro, it's not really going to work for you either. So either way, they can be good or bad. So you just have to know how to work each one individually. But they both do the job, and they both have, had people squat huge weights in them. So. Okay, so next would be like a deadlift suit. This right here is a Fusion. It's single ply. As I said earlier, what I like to do is I like to wear a single ply briefs underneath and a single ply Fusion. That way you have 2 plies in the hips, but there's not a lot of material up top, bogging you down trying to get to the bar. These are very similar to, a squat suit, except they're a poly material. They're made out of the same material as the briefs. They have a little bit of give to them, not much. And you can get these done different ways too. You can get the back done in 2-ply. I know a lot of guys get the back 2-ply, the front 1. So when they try and get to the bar, it's a little easier. But yeah, same sort of deal. Velcro straps that go over the shoulders, sort of like a stretchy pair of overalls. These are much more forgiving than a squat suit would be. But if you get a single ply, you can wear it a little tighter, and that way it'll stretch a little more. You can push into it a little harder. So that's a Fusion deadlift suit. I know Inzer has a couple other models. that I've never really messed around with much. But to be honest with you, deadlift suits most of the time are just sort of to keep you whole at the end of a meet when you're a little beat up and you've already squatted and deadlifted or squatted and benched already. You get to the end of a meet and your hips are a little beat up. They're going to help you out of the bottom and keep you whole. They don't really, I don't think there's much of a carryover to the actual deadlift unless you're extremely weak off the floor. But that's that Fusion deadlift suit. Okay, last thing I'm going to go over is the bench shirt. Bench shirts, I think, are one of the most misunderstood things about gear lifting. People who are not in gear seem to think that using a bench shirt is very easy and that it automatically adds poundage to your bench press. I challenge any of those people to put a bench shirt on and load the bar up with 200 pounds more than what they can bench and see if they can press it in the shirt. They're very difficult, they're very finicky. It's a finesse skill to use one, and you have to have one that works for you with your style of benching. So start with an older type of shirt. They've been making them forever. It's a Rage X. This is made out of the same material that the Predator briefs are made out of. This one here is grid stitched in the chest and then circle stitched in the sleeves. It's 2 plies. These are similar, from what I'm told, to a denim shirt. Denim shirts, some people still use them. They seem to be a little outdated. They come up with new stuff, but the denim shirts, some people really like them. The Rage X, from what I'm told, is very similar. You touch sort of lower on your belly. It seems to work for people with a shorter bench stroke, with shorter forearms, because it is hard to touch in these shirts. They will lock up on you. They're not a very stretchy material. There's not a big collar. So the collar is very small, and for the most part with the Rage X, you don't really pull the collar down to get more out of it. You kind of put it on and then use the Velcro straps in the back to adjust how tight the shirt's going to be on you. So that's a Rage X. This right here is an original Phenom. It's not a super duper, it's just a regular Phenom that someone added a SDP type collar to. This is a very stretchy shirt, very forgiving. Like regular Phenom shirts are easy to use for beginners. They have a very natural bench stroke, very natural groove, but you don't get as much out of them because they're not as rugged of a shirt. They are pretty stretchy. Most of them don't have this thicker collar on them. It's a thinner collar, but these are a really good beginner shirt. Super easy. They're not terribly expensive, and they are stretchy. So these are good. It's just original Phenom. So now moving on to the super duper Phenom. There has been different colors, and the different colors have different material. So people like different things. So this is a black Phenom, and it is the stiff black material. So some people really like this. Usually bigger guys tend to like the stiffer material. They have their body allows it to give a little bit more. They're rugged in touching. They have a good amount of pop to them, but this is like a stiffer black shirt. I don't believe they're making the stiff blacks anymore. But if someone says a stiff black shirt, they mean it. There's no give to it. Doesn't stretch much. It's going to take a bunch to touch, and they're pretty rugged to use. So that's a black super duper Phenom. And then here is the red super duper Phenom. These are some of the nicer shirts that they've made. They're stretchy. They give you a lot out of the bottom. They're pretty easy to use. These have a very natural groove, similar to a raw bench press. The red, I know they don't make anymore, but the blue and the new black that they're putting out now seems to be very similar to this material. There's not much of a break-in process because they're already stretchy. You just kind of have to do it slowly. But these are great shirts. Any of the STPs you're going to be able to use if you have a good coach. It does take a little bit to get used to. It's a very hard skill to learn, but if you're patient, you can figure it out. with the right coaching. So this is a super duper phenom, a couple of Velcro straps. All the sizing charts are right on the website, and they're pretty easy to follow. So I would recommend, if someone was getting into multiply, to just get an SDP and learn how to use it, because that's where you'll end up anyway most of the time. And that's where all the big benches, or most of the big benches, have come from super duper phenoms, because once you learn them, you put up a monster. So that's that. Okay, so that is equipment for powerlifting. I hope this was helpful. Tried to make it as informative as I possibly could without actually having someone in front of you to show you the gear. But that's that. If you have any questions, link my email in the bottom, link my website in the bottom. Please like or subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting out more content like this on a regular basis. If you have any ideas for videos you'd like to see, drop it in the comments or shoot me an email and we'll get right to that. Hope to hear from you guys soon.